What up, y'all? Today I want to talk about symbolic victories. But before I do, make sure you run on my likes, my comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see the updates. Make sure that you share so we can get this message across the air. And let's get it. Today, like I said, we're talking about symbolic victories. Congratulations to the new president of the United States, Joe Biden. Congratulations to the new vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris. It's definitely an interesting campaign. Definitely an interesting year. Definitely been an interesting past 4 years. With that being said, like I said, today I want to talk about symbolic victories, so let's get into it. I've been looking on social media, and what I saw is a lot of people bragging about the fact that Kamala Harris is an AKA. I saw a lot of people bragging about the fact that she went to an HBCU, and those two things right there, they're kind of what inspired this video a little bit more so than anything else, because yes, it's dope that Kamala Harris is an AKA, fantastic. Yes, it's dope that she graduated from an HBCU. It's fantastic. I even saw some people talking about the fact that she was a Kappa sweetheart. It's phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Those are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful accomplishments and achievements for everybody. And, everybody that's black, I guess I'll say. And, great, fantastic. So, now that we got that out of the way, now what? What type of policies is Kamala Harris going to implement for those HBCUs? What kind of things are the AKAs going to implement now that they have a black vice president? And, I'm not taking shots at either one of them. I'm just asking questions that it doesn't really seem like anybody else is asking. I saw a lot of people feeling proud to be from HBCUs now that, Kamala Harris is the vice president and she went to Howard, which is cool, but HBCUs were popping before, Kamala got into her position that she won, There's been plenty of great people that came from HBCUs that have done tremendous things. So, the founders of HBCUs, that put these things together and implemented these things, man, like, they have done wonderful things. If you ever get a chance, look up the Booker T. Washington story. I can't think of the name of the book. I think it was just my autobiography. But read it, man, to see what he went through in order to make, his college the way that it is, the way that it was, and the greatness that he did, the greatness that he exuded, man. He went out there and this man walked to Hampton University, and then, he slept on the side of the street just to get an education, taught himself how to read. Those are your heroes. Those are the people that you should be idolizing. And I'm not, saying take anything away from Kamala if that's what you support and if that's what makes you proud to be from an HBCU. Awesome. But I'm looking at people like Booker T. Washington, you know what I'm saying? Or Mary McLeod Bethune. Don't you know that, yeah, we got to talk about, since we're talking about HBCUs, don't you know that there's a HBCU? I just found this out when I moved to Charlotte. There's a HBCU up here, Barber Scotia College, that Mary McLeod Bethune went to. And if you ride past it, you'll see how destitute and desolate it is. You know what I'm saying? So we have a habit of saying that we support something or we stand behind something and we like something, but it's only symbolic. It's only something that we do for appearances. It's something that we say that we do so we can feel proud about the action. We don't care about the result, just the action. We say that we're voting for, the Democrats because Donald Trump is racist. We don't really know what we're getting from the Democrats or what, the outcome of our votes are going to be. But we know that we don't like Donald Trump. We know that he's racist, and we know he has to go because he makes us upset. So boom. And we know we're afraid of what will happen if we get 4 more years of Donald Trump. So that's why a lot of people voted if you want to keep it 100. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But it's symbolic, man. It's like we're a very surface level people. And I'm not sitting up here trying to shit on black people or, say that anything demeaning or disregarding to black people. But the facts are the facts. When it comes to critical thinking and thinking things through and weighing out the results of our actions, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't do that. Cognitive dissonance is very, very real. For us to look at something different or to think critically, it means we have to look at our grandparents funny. It means we have to look at our parents funny. It means we have to, question everything that we've been taught. And a lot of people are afraid to do that. Even if you ask a question, not even saying that you're going to do X, Y, Z or whatnot. If you just ask the question, people are looking at you funny, or they're looking at you from the side eye, or they think that you're being disrespectful. It's like, nah, I genuinely want to know, like, why is this a good decision? What are we getting? And that makes me think a lot about the Ice Cube situation. Like, I saw a lot of people were saying Ice Cube got played, Ice Cube got tricked or whatnot. Hey, Ice Cube wanted to sit down and he came up with a plan. And, a lot of the people that were saying that Ice Cube got played, what are their plans? You got to ask these people, well, what would you suggest? What do you think that he should have done? Or, what would you do? What would you have implemented? What's your plan? What do you think we should do? And then just sit back and listen, because you got a lot of people that talk and they say things, but they don't really think through what they're saying. They just say what they are programmed to say, I remember I heard some people saying that they agreed with Joe Biden when he said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, or they tried to downplay it or make it seem like it wasn't that serious. It's like, nah, you mean to tell me, like, if I don't vote or if I vote for, Donald Trump, that means that I'm not black? Like, does that mean the police aren't going to shoot me now? Like, does that mean that I can get some benefits and some tangibles now because I'm not black? Like, if that was the case, it seems like a lot of people probably wouldn't have voted for him, because then you get all kind of benefits that you would have to worry about if you were black. You know what I'm saying? But people don't think, man. And I'm not, this video is for people that, I know some people, they're going to listen to this and it's going to go on one ear and out the other. I'm not talking to y'all. Like, I already know. It is what it is. Y'all minds are made up. You feel how you feel. And that's just that. I'm talking to the people that have questions and they're afraid to ask because they feel like they're going to be shamed, or, the people that decided that they weren't going to make a decision because they'd rather pick no pick than, whatever. This video's for y'all. And, I never try to be too hotep or preachy. Like, I do my own research. I do my own studies. I learn what I learn. And, I just sit back and listen and watch other people, make broad statements and generalized statements and just see what happens. But, it's just crazy to see how, people are so focused on symbolisms and the appearances and not the actual realities and the gravities of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's just something that's heavy in black culture. Again, we rather look rich than be rich. We rather talk about how much we love HBCUs, but let a HBCU say, hey, let's donate some funds so we can get some money together, and watch how quickly that love dissipates and disappears. Or even a better question, why do HBCUs need money? Why can't they get money? You don't really see any of these PWIs asking for money like that, you know. So what's the difference? Is it because, they aren't sustainable on their own? Is it because the people that graduate don't give back as frequently as they could? If they aren't giving back as frequently as they could, why is that? Are they not making enough money? Or do they feel like, they didn't get the education they needed? These are the questions that we need to be asking and we need to be focusing on, yeah, it's just interesting to see how people just don't think critically at all. We just make decisions based off of, the hive mind or what people say, and then we go based off that. Or either that or you let somebody shame you into making a decision, and, this is your livelihood, but you're letting somebody else plant doubt and fears in your mind about what you believe and what you think. Then, that's just the ones that do. You have some, they just aren't going to think on their own. This is how they feel, this is what they know, this is what they've been ingrained since, they were little, and they're just done. They're lost, Am I saying that I thought Donald Trump was the best candidate? No, I'm not. Am I saying that I think Joe Biden is the worst candidate? No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, we got to start thinking about what's going to serve our interests and what's going to benefit us the most outside of fear and outside of symbolic history. I'm so tired of hearing the argument that we have to vote because our ancestors died for us to vote. No, that is not why our ancestors died. Our ancestors died for the right to vote. The right is a choice. You can choose to participate in the system, or you don't have to choose to participate in the system. If the ancestors died for us to vote, then you'd be legally obligated to vote. It's a choice. You can choose to, you can choose not to. They voted for the right to make the choice. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have a choice. They could not vote. And then to take it even on a deeper level, when they were fighting for the right to vote, they actually knew what they wanted. They had tangibles. They had demands. They had voting blocks. Most people don't even know what a voting block is. Like, when you have a voting block, you say, hey, we represent these things. If you want our vote, then you need to actively speak and mention these things. If you get into office, then you need to take care of these things. Otherwise, we're not going to vote for you because you don't serve our interests. And politicians understand that. In every field, there's a different language. Back when I was a teacher, we had what was called tiered level vocabulary words. And so you had tier 1, which is basically sight words that you see, cat, dog, go, stop, 3-4 letter words, and, run, things of that nature, just regular words that you use every day. And then you had tier 2 words, which were your more higher level words that you might use in a paper, or you might use when you're reading a book or writing a book. They're higher level words, but they're not, domain specific. Tier 3 were your domain specific words, meaning that if you decide to be a part of a certain field, let's say, for example, if you decide to be a doctor, doctors have their own language and they have words that are domain specific to being a doctor. Mechanics have their own language that they talk. If they talk about an alternator, if you're a mechanic, you know what an alternator is, and they have different terms that express what each part of the vehicle does. Those are your tier 3 words. Same thing with basketball players, baseball players, whatever you name. If you're a rock climber, you have certain words that you use. Bartenders, every different type of field in something, they have their own vocabulary that they use to communicate with each other. And those are your tier 3 words. The thing about black people is we don't understand the language of politics. we understand the emotion of politics, we understand the feelings of politics, but the actual language of politics, the tier 3 words, we don't really understand that. And, we don't really take the time to learn and explore that. And, most people don't. It's not just black people. Most people vote based on emotion and based on how somebody makes them feel, not necessarily what they're going to do or what the tangibles are. I think that's more so an American thing than a black thing. But I know specifically us black people, we have a terrible habit of going off of how people make us feel and what they say, and not necessarily what they do. And we end up shooting ourselves in the foot by supporting things based off of how somebody made us feel, and not necessarily what they're going to say or what they're going to do or how they're going to benefit us. And that's something that going forward, I hope that we learn to work on, and we address that and we deal with it, and we start having these conversations where it's not 100% emotion, and we're talking about what we need, and we talk about what we have to do to make these things happen, and then we stop talking and we execute. That's the other thing, execution. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to say something, it's one thing to talk about it, but to actually put it in motion and make it happen is a whole nother ball game. And that's something that we have to work on, because it's something collectively as black people we don't do. We can talk about how much we love HBCUs all day, but when it's time to donate money to these HBCUs, it never happens. When it's time to actually build something together collectively, we never do. And you can have your 1 or 2 black people that actually go through and they make something out of themselves, and then we're the first ones to tear them down, or we don't support them, or we kill their dreams or we kill their visions. But when they try to say, hey, let's do this collectively, let's make it happen, then it's crickets. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only saying that based off experience. I've seen it numerous times. I've been on that side numerous times. It's easy to talk, it's easy to plan, it's easy to strategize, but to actually put these things in motion and execute, that's where things get so sticky. Like, I don't know. Even with the people that were saying, hey, we're going to do X, Y, Z. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. As soon as it gets crunch time and you start getting nervous, you just see people folding. I saw so many people talking about how they're not going to vote for the lesser of two evils. And then the closer it came to election time, they were popping up with their stickers. I'm not judging, I'm just talking about what I saw. So, we got to get past this need for symbolic victories and seeing things and not actually having tangibles, and I think I mentioned it before. It even trickles down to how we carry ourselves. We spend so much money on Gucci, on Louis Vuitton, so we can look like we have money. And then on the inside, we're broke and we don't have anything, but we have all of this nice stuff. We've accumulated all of these things. We have the Louis belts. Every time I go into South Park Mall, I see a line of people, and me and my bro Corey talk about this all the time. We look in the doggone Gucci store or the Louis store. Well, the Gucci store is being remodeled or something like that. But the damn Louis store, every time there's a line of people waiting to get inside the doggone Louis store. And it's like, that money you're taking and spending on Louis Vuitton, you can be taking that same money and you can be building your own brand. You know what I'm saying? You can be investing in your homeboy's brand. You can be investing in starting a business. It really doesn't cost that much, but we spend so much money trying to look cool that we don't focus on actually being cool. Like, that Louis belt isn't going to, change your life. Yeah, you might end up getting some booty off of your belt. Maybe, it's not a guarantee. You may end up, turning some heads. You may end up having somebody, pat you on the back and just say, that's a nice belt, I like it. You know what I'm saying? But after a while, what happens when the belt starts depreciating? What happens when the belt starts wearing and tearing? You know what I'm saying? Then it's just a belt. If you try to resell the belt, you may or may not make your money back, depending on the condition of the belt. after your wear and tear and usage of the belt. You might make your money back if you're lucky, but chances are you aren't, because if somebody's gonna pay retail for a Louis belt, they might as well get a brand new belt from the Louis store, rather than paying anywhere close for you and saving maybe $25-50, if that. So guys, we got to just start thinking about what we need to do personally. Like, it doesn't matter that Joe Biden won, it doesn't matter that Donald Trump lost. Neither one of them are going to come down and make your life everything that you want it to be. It's up to you. You have to decide that, I'm going to make these changes for my life. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my money and be the shepherd of it, instead of me being the sheep and following my money. You know what I'm saying? We got to be the ones to say, you know what? I'm going to take this money and invest in my HBCU. Or I'm going to take this money and I'm going to start a scholarship so that, one less student has to worry about student loan debt. Maybe it's $100, but that's $100 that they don't have to spend on books. Or, that's $100 that they don't have to worry about how they're going to eat. They can take that money, save it, and do something with it. We got to get past this all talk, no action type thing. Or we got to stop being the person that, just because we're there, people address us when they need us. And then when they don't need us, they don't think of us at all. You know what I'm saying? Because now that election time's over and Joe Biden is in office, Kamala's in office, who's already said she's not going to get up there and say she's going to do anything just for black people. Like, and hold on. Let me talk about that really quick. You know what I'm saying? So you had Kamala Harris say that she wasn't going to just sit up there and say that she would do anything for black people. And you know what? I respect that, because she was so real with her shit. Like, when somebody's that honest, like, you can't even be mad at him, dog. Like, that's why when Trump says things, he didn't really bother me, because it's like, hey, you're honest, cool, I can rock with that. You know what I'm saying? So really quick, piggybacking on that, she said she's not gonna sit up there and say she's gonna do anything just for black people. No. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. You have so many other different groups that people speak up for. People speak up for gay people, which isn't a race. Like, being gay, you can't, and I don't mean to be offensive, but, being gay, people don't have to know that you're gay. Like, you can't hide being black. If your skin is this color, you can't say, oh, I'm white, but you know what I'm saying, I just got a skin condition. No, you're black. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for her to support all of these other things, but to say, I'm not going to say anything specifically for this group, that should make you, question, well, why wouldn't you say anything for this group? And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think she said that. It's because she knows that sitting there trying to campaign specifically to black people and give them tangibles is a moot point. Because, again, going back to the whole overarching theme, we like to talk, but we don't like to stand behind, or we don't like to put in work. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to taking action, what are you going to do for Kamala Harris to secure her vote? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do to put pressure on her? What are you going to do to make anything happen? Nothing. So why does she have to give you anything if she knows that you're not going to give her anything, or you're not going to ride for her if you need her? You know what I'm saying? If she needs you to. But, she can maneuver around and get your vote. You know what I'm saying? So more than anything, if you leave this video feeling upset, whatever, just understand the point. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be a talker. Don't just be, the person that looks like you got it and you don't have anything. Don't just be the symbolic person that, you know what I'm saying, you don't do anything. One more thing before I go, because it makes me think about Christianity as well. Most people that proclaim that they're Christian, and it's not just Christian, so I can't even say it's Christianity. It's any religion that we decide that we want to be a part of. How many of us actually follow the tenets of that religion? How many of us study that religion? If we decide that we don't want to believe in anything at all, How many of us actually look and decide why we don't believe in things? Again, we have a habit of scratching the surface and looking at things without diving deeply and understanding fully what we're subjecting ourselves to. So, of course, nobody's going to want to represent you, or nobody's going to want to, go above and beyond for you when you don't even go above and beyond for yourself. So, like I said, if I step on some toes, or if I hurt some feelings, oh well. If I reach somebody and I wake them up and this video was worth it, I got my point across. I just want people to understand, man, like, we don't have to be a surface level people. We don't have to do the bare minimum. We don't have to, just be here just to fill seats. It's like, hey, well, let's go holler at black people, because we know black people, they're going to do whatever we tell them to do, because, hey, that's what they've been doing forever. No, let's start asking questions. Let's start stepping up. Let's start looking for tangibles. Let's start doing for self. Let's start building sustainability things that benefit us specifically. I was driving through Charlotte the other day, and I saw that there was a temp agency for Latinos. There was a Latino temp agency. And then immediately I'm thinking, hey, why isn't there a black temp agency? You know what I'm saying? If they can openly say that they're a Latino temp agency, and I'm sure they probably open their doors to everybody, but how do you look as a black person going to the Latino temp agency to get a job when, there's plenty of black businesses out here that you could go to, establish relationships with, and build a black temp agency where everybody benefits, everybody wins. You're helping out your community, you're putting people in jobs, and you're giving exposure to these businesses. Great idea. If you want to start a business, go for the black temp agency. Boom. I just set you up. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. That's all I want to talk about today. Let's just start taking action and making things happen rather than capping and talking, man. Like, it's really, really, really crunch time. Every time something happens, we lose more and more rights. We lose more and more power. We lose more and more control. So we got to start taking it back. And we take it back by implementing actions, coming up with codes that we follow and we believe in, and we stick to it. We don't just say it because it sounds good or it sounds cool, but we actually live by these things, and we practice these things, and we implement them every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to us to change our lives, to change our narratives, to change our trajectory. If we don't do it, nobody's going to do it for us. Joe Biden's not going to do it for us. Kamala Harris is not going to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves, or it will not get done. All right?